Strange Minds 6. I'm your host Ruby, and today we're going to be getting back into the Octunnumi, chapter 25. This book is written by Trevor Allen Forrest, or Forrest, something like that. But before I begin reading, I do just want to give a little heads up. I have both of my puppies here with me, so if you hear a little sound or like a little bell on the collars, please don't mind it. I'm gonna try to edit most of it out, but if you do hear a little bit in the background, please don't mind it. And definitely hit that like button if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. It means a great deal to me. Now, without further ado, grab your snack, grab your drinks, sit back and relax, and let's get to it, shall we? Such a long time. The view from the Alliance meeting room had changed little from the last time that Edgar had reason to engage with Fethris. Of course, the trees are much bigger now, he muses. The cars and the attire of people rushing about their day are not the same. Not in the slightest, but nothing else really. The buildings, the railed off residence, gardens, even the people with their fixed, determined faces remained unchanged. Taking it in, it draws on Edgar for the first time that he has been fooling himself to think that he did not miss Fethris. And to have missed so much. Edgar, forgive me, Margarine says, interrupting his thoughts. I don't want to sound insensitive, she hesitates. But you and Cadison, well, you are both aging. Yes, my dear. I had noticed. Sorry, Edgar. I didn't mean to be. Not at all, my dear, he replies. No doubt you are questioning why. If this is affecting myself and Cadison, is it not, Nathaniel? Well, I think it's quite clear that he is getting help from somewhere to retain his life force, he states. How else do you explain the fact that he is not aging? Not to mention his newfound skills. Do you think the missing people are part of what Nathaniel is mixed up in? That is exactly what I think, yes. He pauses momentarily. However, my son may be many things, my dear, but an evil genius he is not. He is, as I have suggested, displaying thought and action that his dear mother displayed toward the end. And so I fear that in his unstable condition, he is being manipulated. He is, without a doubt, just the front man. And the children? She asks. If what you are saying is true, why bring them to our attention? Surely, what good are they to him? I am the one who has the research, the years of dedicated investigation into these children, not Nathaniel. Yes, of course, Edgar, I wasn't. So of course he wants them to be found by us, brought home, because then my work can continue. So you think Nathaniel wants you to pick up where you left off, restart the program? The program has never stopped, my dear, he replies, taking a seat at the table. The program has been going on. It has? Of course. Do you not think I had enough data to continue with? Obviously, I was less than pleased with the interruption. Interruption? Margarine exclaims. Edgar, these children were kidnapped, thought dead. And now they are not, he replies curtly. Look, Margarine, we both know the importance of these children to me. He gestures his aging body. Not to mention any other crossovers. If others are not already experiencing this, I can safely say that it is only a matter of time before they too find themselves facing their own mortality. And of course, there are the implications for your own people. He pauses. So yes, in answer to your question, I do think that now the children have surfaced, it is of much importance to Nathaniel and his backers for us to have the children. And who do you think is behind this? Margarine asks. Someone known to the Octunnumi? How else? He replies. Do you explain Nathaniel's ability to circumnavigate so magnificently your efforts to stop him? Edgar, I hardly. It is merely an observation, my dear, not a criticism. However, it cannot be ignored that the actions of one man, be he working alone or otherwise, has quite remarkably, and one must say successfully, blindsided the Octunnumi and its people. Unfortunately, Edgar, I cannot disagree with you on that, she sighs. However, it does not explain why Nathaniel seems intent on destroying everything you have built up if, as you say, he needs you to restart your work. He seems to be pretty indiscriminate to me, using me as some sort of scapegoat. For what, Edgar? All of his actions have been directed at you, throwing images up over the table, she continues. Nathaniel targeted Bolivian first. She turns to look at him. He was your advisor and close friend, until the incident with the children, he replies flatly. Yes, of course. We never did completely understand why he did such a terrible thing, she mutters. Perhaps we were too quick to... No. He stops her. No. Standing now, he leans on the table. You do not allow him any benefit of doubt. He did what he did. The fact that the children may have survived does not change the fact that they were taken and are still missing. He pauses before adding, and if he were so innocent, why stay at the Hitherant? It is not exactly a holiday retreat. No one in their right mind chooses to go to the Hitherant, let alone stay there. Yes, of course, but Bolivian. Edgar grabs his cane and begins pacing the room. Instigated such a terrible thing, he continues, ignoring Margarine's protests. Committed the ultimate crime. A crime, she interrupts. We could never prove was of his doing. And now it would seem a crime that didn't happen. We can all be wiser in hindsight, he replies, standing in front of her. As for Nathaniel, targeting Bolivian, getting to him would provide a direct link to me. Because of the work you did on his arm, Margarine states. Precisely, Edgar replies. What concerns me more, however, is that how, after all this time, did Nathaniel manage to access the Hitherant? Without help. Exactly, my dear, and no doubt that is where Nathaniel's instability comes from. It comes to the fore. The discovery of the children has clearly unraveled his plan. Coming across their existence has set him in a dilemma. His desire to make me pay for what he sees as indiscretion. You denied his wife life-saving help, Margarine comments. I think indiscretion is a little mild. Not all things are as straightforward as we might think, my dear. But suffice to say, he cuts again, Nathaniel is torn between his desire to punish me and his need for the work to continue. He pauses. But as you say, perhaps not. If we are correct about the life force, then he might not need me after all. But then targeting all of your known worlds, Edgar? If Nathaniel's intention is to harm you, why this? As the professor watches, Margarine flags up various images of buildings throughout the Insomnids, all ransacked, and the controlling of the access points. No doubt in case I try to use them, Edgar replies quietly. And then there is this. She pulls up an image of the rumble that was once the gatehouse cottage. Nate can be seen roaming through the wreckage. Edgar grasps the back of a chair as he watches intently Nate sifting through the rubble, stooping to study something, glancing up, seemingly to look directly at Edgar. When is this? He asks, shifting uncomfortably. Shortly after you and the boys were there. In fact, I am surprised he missed you. He appears to be looking for something in particular, Edgar. Any ideas? She turns to look at him. Yes, he certainly does, he mutters then. Catching sight of Margarine's confused expression, he relaxes. Blowed if I know. A trinket, who knows? My dead body, perhaps? Why did you demolish your house, Edgar? She asks, dismissing the images. It seems a little extreme, even for you. You are not the only one who receives information of the other Insomnids, my dear, he smiles. I'd had warning messages, so I was prepared for... He pauses. Well, not for all of the, He sighs. But I had warnings that he was looking for me and that my life was in danger. Excuse me. The house was our family home, Nate's family home. It has many direct access points to and from many Insomnids. It does? Yes. I wasn't aware. Finding those would leave my work in jeopardy. Margarine studies Edgar for a moment as he resumes his pacing. So, where will he go now? She asks. My dear, your guess is as good as mine, he shrugs. Fortunately, I have had the foresight to have my work backed up and That is why it is of the utmost importance that you get me to the Rithitov. This word is hard to say. I'm just gonna say Toph in Sumid. Why would you want to go to Toph, of all places? I have my reasons. You do. She pulls up an inventory of the comings and goings of the Toph in Sumids. We have no record of your even being there, let alone, and that, Edgar states, would be why Nathaniel is also not aware of my presence in the Insomid. Are you saying that Nathaniel has accessed our databases? How else would you explain it? If you ask me, he replies flatly, there is a direct correlation between the places Nathaniel has targeted and the information that the Octunnumi is privy to. So there is a pattern. She looks back at Edgar. If, as you seem to think, that this is the systematic attempt to track my location, then yes, I suppose so, he replies. And quite frankly, I am more than a little concerned that the Alliance has so far failed to intercept him. You do, after all, have the best facilities available to you. He pauses. And one has to ask why you are failing so spectacularly. Edgar, I think you are missing the point. She shakes her head. All access points are closed. Everybody is on lockdown. Not everybody. I'm sorry. I have seen the Apfom Lodge. I know that a team can move around the Insomeds without the access points via the layers. And of course, there are the old trade routes you spoke about. He fixes her with a smile. Which are hearsay, she adds, and only the original team would be able. I suggest then that you get the team together and get me to Toph in Sumid. That is not an easy task, Edgar, Theos declares, striding into the room. The time is all relative, Theos, Edgar cuts in. As you say, all access points are in lockdown, so Nathaniel is as stuck as we are. He's not going to be causing any more problems. He nods, and buttoning his jacket adds, so you let me know when everyone is assembled. He grasps his stick. In the meantime, I assume that my rooms, office, and laboratories here in the Octunnumi are still accessible? Well, yes, of course. And that everything is as I had left it. Yes, of course. Edgar, the whole area was sealed as you Good, good, he says, heading to the door. Then I shall retire to my quarters and monitor your progress from there. Margarine begins. I look forward to seeing your best work. Good day. And that is the end of chapter 25. I don't know, more and more I think that the professor is hiding something extreme. Like, he's being kind of like suspicious. And being sus is not going good for him. But definitely leave a comment down below. I'm sorry for yawning. I'm a little bit tired. I woke up really, really early. But I definitely wanted to get this out there. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. What do you think Edgar's plan is? with that, this has been Ruby, signing off.